To start glazing my clay fish, I'm first going to pick a color. For me, I think I'm just going to go with a simple orange color for my goldfish. And I'm going to be using 2 different brush sizes today. I'm going to use a medium-sized brush so that I can cover my whole fish. And once I've covered it entirely with glaze, then I'm going to use a detail brush to put my smaller details. So I'm just going to dry off my brush a little bit. And then I'm going to use this orange glaze to paint my entire fish everywhere, except I'm going to try to keep it off of his eyes. The only other spot that I don't want to put any glaze is the very bottom of my fish. The reason I don't want any glaze on the bottom of my fish is because if I put it in the kiln with glaze on it there, then it will stick to the kiln, and we don't want that to happen. Now, when I think I'm done with this layer, I'm gonna wanna ask myself, did I get all the white spots? I really wanna make sure that I didn't leave any of these little spots around my fish white. So looking at mine, I see that I've got quite a few spots that I've left white. If you see spots like this that are a little bit harder to get to, then what you wanna do is put a lot of glaze on your brush and just poke that spot. If you poke it, then the glaze will sort of sink into those little white spots there. And I really want to make sure that I don't leave anything white. If I leave anything white, then it's not going to be shiny and it's not going to be colorful in those areas, and it just won't look that well at the end. So I'm going to go ahead and finish looking for my little peekaboo spots, the little white spots that are poking through. Once it looks like I've covered everything one time, then I'm going to let it dry a little bit, and once it dries, I'm going to put another thin layer of glaze on there so that I can make sure that it is really bright and shiny in the end. Now that my fish is pretty much dry, I can start to add the details. So what I'm going to start with is painting the eyes white. I know they're already white, but I want them to be shiny, so I have to use a white glaze to ensure that. I'm also going to use a detail brush because it's a smaller area. I'm going to want to use smaller bristles. So I'm just going to dip the bristles into the glaze and then use that to carefully paint the eye area. I want to go right up to the orange that I have, and a few places I got a little bit of orange on the eye. I'll just want to make sure that I cover that also. If it's still see-through after one coat, I may need to add a second coat of white also, just to make sure that we're not seeing the orange through. And I'll do the same thing over here. See, it's a little bit see-through there, so I know I'm going to need to have a second coat as well. And I want to make sure that I get the sides of it because I want to really cover the entire fish. Once I've covered everything there, then I can let it dry and I can paint the inside of the eye here too, the iris, the colored part. And I can also add whatever details that I want to add to my fish. When I'm finished painting my entire fish, then I can just let it dry so we can put it in the kiln.